And I'm sure Lynn's going to help us along that journey. So back to you, Wade.
And that is so awesome, Sam. I will, buddy. Man, today is one of my very favorite days of all. And I know, guys, listening to Lynn is always just one of my favorite days. It just gives me the strength to carry on each and every month. And I'm not trying to make you blush, Lynn, or anything else. You are just always so right on point. I love your conviction. I love that you are who you are in Christ, and that you carry that forward. And so I'm just so grateful this morning to have Miss Lynn Gardner. It's so awesome to have you. Good morning, Lynn. How are you this morning?
Well, good morning, Wade. I'm doing great, and I'm so thankful to God that you're feeling better. So I'll continue to pray for you to gain your strength and your voice and get back in the groove, 100%. It's always great to be with you guys, and it's exciting, of course, to be with you for the first time this year. I trust everybody had a wonderful Christmas and that you're as excited about 2018 as I am. I had a great Christmas with my family. All my kids and my grandkids were here at the farm, and I know that as the grandkids grow, it won't always be the case. They won't always be here with me, so I'm savoring every year that we're all together. I mentioned to you before, it's tradition in my family for me to make a few of the gifts that my family gets for Christmas, and so my family went from 4 to 8 to 11. I mean, it's getting harder and harder, right? I'd say pretty busy putting my heart into what I share with them. I surprised them this year by converting all those old family movies, and each one got a thumb drive of all of their history in family movies. It's pretty cool. It took 150 hours for me to transfer 150 hours of film, and I obviously couldn't sit there and watch as they were transferring, but not that I wasn't tempted. But the one thing that struck me as I peeked in here and there is that life was even sweeter than I remembered. I wouldn't even have thought that was possible, but it's even sweeter than I remembered. And it occurred to me as I watched and I was listening in, as my conversation with the kids and things like that, that it really shouldn't come as any surprise to me that I've ended up with an amazing family. And I don't say that with any arrogance whatsoever. Everything, God gets credit for it all. But I built my family on a good foundation, and we've weathered a whole lot of storms without any permanent damage. They're strong, and they're resilient, and they're kind and compassionate, and they're people of faith. All because they were raised with a firm foundation. All things built on a solid foundation have the strength to endure no matter what it is. So this experience and, the thinking through our history and the sweetness of it and the solid foundation actually inspired the message today that I'm titling in honor of all our little children, and it's the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf. I trust you're familiar with that story of the 3 little pigs who were sent out, by their mama to go make it on their own. It's time to leave the nest, so to speak. So she said, go on out there and build your own life. So the first order of business for them was to build a house. Each one built their own house out of their chosen materials, but the most important part of the message is not necessarily the materials that they put into the house, but the effort instead. We all know the story that these 3 little pigs were threatened by the big bad wolf that wanted to devour them, and the strength of their home or their foundation was tested. One passed the test and 2 failed the test. We all get threatened by the big bad wolf. Call it whatever you want. Life gets in the way. It's a spiritual truth. We're always going to get the big puff of wind from the big bad wolf. It's just going to happen, right? So we have to question, do we have the strength and the ability for our house to stand? Nobody gets through this life or this business without the puffs of wind that can threaten us. It's true for life. It's true within our family. It's true within the church or within our faith. And for the sake of this call, it's true in our business. It's only when we build that strong foundation that we end the day successfully. And it's when we fail to build a strong foundation that our world has the risk of being blown away by adversity. Adversity in our business comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes. It could be that you're in a slump and you're not making the money you want to make, or it could be that people have left your team and gone elsewhere. It could be backbiting and, jealousy and things like that unfortunately will take place in any world, right? But adversity is going to come through. But the big bad wolf is going to pass through at some point. It is not, there's no avoiding it. I wish we could. Sometimes he'll pass through repeatedly, but if we have a firm foundation, the big puff doesn't stand a chance. So let's break down this simple little nursery rhyme and apply it to our business. You guys know how I can chase a rabbit, right? And we're going to look at the approach of these pigs and how they built their house, and how we have a whole lot of lessons in that for our business. The first pig, and there's no other way to put it, was really lazy. You know, all he cared about was throwing something together. He didn't put thought or planning into it. He cut corners. You know, he built a house made of straw, and it didn't take long to build, obviously. And after he put the house together, it didn't have any go power. He went on out and played, right? That's what he wanted to do. He didn't think about it. He just wanted to go have fun. He was lazy and lackadaisical, and play took precedence over building a house that could withstand the big bad wolf. And sure enough, one big puff from the big bad wolf, and that straw house crumbled. For the most part, the straw was no longer useful, and most of the straw would probably just be trampled on or devoured. So are you building a business out of straw? Without a whole lot of thought into it, a lot of planning into it, a lot of effort into it, does the hard work and planning that it takes to build a business take a backseat to other things in your life? The things that you would rather be doing, and your focus goes elsewhere. Listen, we all have lives, and my priorities. It's Christ, my family, my friends, and then this business, right? We all have lives to live, and we all have things that we love to do and people that we love to spend time with. Prioritizing life is an absolute priority. But if we want to build a long-lasting business, we can't build it out of straw. It takes a lot more effort than that, because just like the straw house, it will crumble so easily at the first puff of adversity. The straw used to build the house will scatter when it does. And some of it will be so damaged, if you will, that it won't ever go on and be part of a strong foundation anywhere else. On the outside, a straw house, straw business may resemble a business, but it really has no foundation or strength to get there. Perhaps you have a business filled with people that are really just happy consumers. They never set out to build a business, and maybe you have a lot of them. But happy consumers, aren't usually the people that desire to build a business. So your business really could be made up of all these end user people, no business builders. So therefore, it has no strength and no power. It has no firm foundation. And when you look at that straw house or that straw business in this case, you may see that there's a lot of straw without the foundation to stand the big puffs of wind from the big bad wolf. So don't get discouraged if your business, isn't growing, the way you want it to. If it appears to be weak, if you will, filled with people not working the business, your business may be made of straw, and it might take a little bit more deliberate planning to make it strong to have the foundation to withstand the big puffs. The next pig was a little bit more diligent. He built his house out of sticks. His house took a little longer to build, I'm sure, but just like his brother, it took a little, he didn't take the planning, right? He just kind of whipped through it, and he was so focused on, hurry up, I want to go outside and play. And surely sticks are stronger, and they have more chance, of withstanding the winds and the straw, but a house built of sticks has a whole lot of gaps and holes in it. If you build a house with just sticks and no mortar, it's just got a lot of holes, and that's what he did. He had a lot of gaps in the house, and when the big bad wolf came by and he huffed and he puffed, it may have taken a little bit more effort to blow that one down, but down it went nonetheless. The sticks scattered, and I'm sure that plenty of them were used elsewhere, but while some of them were destroyed and never used again. Are you building a business out of sticks? Do you have the structure in place with lots of gaps, making it impossible to have the stay power against that big bad wolf? Do you understand and stay focused and consistent? Do you lead your team? Do you pass information along that everybody needs to hear? Or do you just say, well, they need to find out on their own? Do you encourage them? Do you, even when you're discouraged, do you encourage them? Do you believe in them? Do you support them? Do you love them? Do you train them? Or do you point them to training like this call? Do you get them on this call? How many of you you're on the call and nobody on your team is on the call? Do you get them to events? Or do you have a team with a whole lot of holes? House made of sticks has a little strength to it and a lot of promise if you fill in those holes. After all, all log cabins are just big sticks with mortar, and so I know some of them around me are hundreds of years old. Otherwise, you make a house of sticks and it will crumble to the ground, and some of those sticks are going to go off and be used for another house or another business somewhere else, and we often see this in our world, don't we? We see a little puff of wind come through, and next thing you know, you hear people leaving left and right, and they're doing something else, and they're blaming, their world instead of looking at how did they build their house. What kind of foundation do they have to move on? Things get rocky here and there, and maybe some aren't making the money that they thought that they wanted to make or that they needed to make. But because there are holes all around them, they jump ship at the first sign of the big bad wolf, and they go off to another business thinking it's going to be different. But assuming the company we represent has a firm foundation, and it does, running off to another business isn't the answer, and it isn't the problem. The problem is they never, ever had the firm foundation. And when the puffs of wind come through, and some of them will become discouraged, they'll rest on the ground and never be used for business again, all because there wasn't a firm foundation, a solid foundation to teach them to weather the big puffs from the big bad wolf. Well, that last pig was a little harder working. He planned his house, and he built it out of brick. And I don't know if you've ever watched a brick mason build a house or a wall or anything. They make it look easy, but there's nothing easy about it. It takes planning. It takes symmetry. It takes the right bricks at just the right size and just the right shape, and they're carefully put into place, and there aren't any gaps or holes. It's solid, and it can withstand any big puff from the big bad wolf. When you build a house or a business out of bricks, it's long-lasting. It can endure a lot of adversity, for example, without crumbling. When it comes to building a real business, there's only one real option, isn't there? And this may appear to be an oversimplified analogy, but it's a good example how so many of us attempt to build a business. You can't build anything strong and meaningful without a lot of hard work and without careful planning. You can't build anything in life, from relationships to children to faith or to your business, without a firm foundation. You can't build anything meaningful or profitable if you just shoot from the hip. It doesn't just happen, folks. You can't address your relationships or your children or your faith, your business, like a walk in the park. If you want a good end result, it takes a lot more effort than that. I'm not sure why so many people get into our business and they walk away or they don't grow because it's more difficult than they thought it would be. But it takes work, a plan, a purpose, to build that long-lasting business that at least we speak that we want to have. When you have a solid foundation, you stay with it. When you have a solid foundation, you hold it together. And when you have a solid foundation, you don't give up on the bricks. When we cut corners or we stay more focused on other things like those two little pigs, right? And when we believe that a business shouldn't be hard to build, it's then that we find ourselves discouraged, and unfortunately some people leave. But when you think about it, what makes a business like McDonald's the success that it is? It certainly isn't the healthy food that's served or the masterful marketing. It's not all about location. It succeeds year after year after year because it has a foundation in place. It wasn't built out of straw or sticks. It's a well-oiled machine that took lots of planning and lots of diligence to build. And no matter how many puffs from the big bad wolf it endures, from an enlightenment about healthy or not healthy foods to the economy to countless other affordable options that are out there now, McDonald's isn't going anywhere. So what does your house look like? What does your business look like? Do you throw together some people without giving a whole lot of thought about, building a strong organization? And do you find yourself discouraged because of it? Do you have a business filled with just really happy consumers and you don't have the foundation of a team that can carry things forward? I found myself there in the early days, that's for sure, until I learned that it's not about selling machines. It's about building a business. And when I looked closely, around in my group, I realized it was made of straw. And it was no wonder I was discouraged when I expected a straw house to hold up like a brick one. I see so many people come and go in this business just like you do. Most of the time when they leave this business and they go off to another in hopes of finding their easy money. It had nothing to do with the products or the company or the compensation. None of those things changed. It's all because business was built on sticks. And the effort that it takes to build a firm foundation for them simply didn't exist. business. There were too many holes in it, holes that could or should have been filled by a leader, or plenty of holes that should have been filled by the one speaking success, but not willing to do what it takes to get there. The brick house, the brick business, the solid foundation didn't exist for those people. So where are you? You know, a business takes planning, and it takes strategy to make it strong. And in case you don't understand what it means to build that strong, long-lasting business, it's not as difficult as it might sound. It takes a willingness to work hard, it takes a focus, and it takes an understanding of what a firm foundation really looks like. All three pigs came from the same family. You know, they came from the same litter, so to speak. So one wasn't older or wiser or had more experience or whatever. They were all equally equipped, just like we are, right? But each one made their own choice of how they build, and each one jeopardized or built their future because of it. And so do you and me. You know, we have a great company. We have an amazing leader. We have unbelievable products. We have a phenomenal comp plan. Nothing important at all to build a business is broken, and yet we see people scatter and go off to build business made out of straw or sticks instead of staying to build a business made out of bricks, a long-lasting one. You know, when the big bad wolf comes along, and he will come along, it's a fact of life and a spiritual truth. Will your business be blown away, or will people leave your group to go off and do things and you'll just crumble to the ground? You know, do you have the stay power? Do you have that foundation that it takes to stand? I can tell you one thing, you know, I ended up the day with an amazing family, but it didn't come without some problems. You know, what if we faced everything in life like that and we said, oh, well, you know, there's grumbling within the church and people are talking about leaving, so I'm done. What would it be as you face challenges with your children, and we all do, by the way, as they're growing up, if you just said, you know what, I'm kind of done with that one. Give me another one. Give me a new one to work with. You know what? It doesn't work that way. I have an amazing family because I raised them on a firm foundation. I have an unshakable faith because it's built on a firm foundation. And I will have a long-lasting and magic business because I'm building it on a firm foundation. So you see, there's a lesson in everything in life, including the story of these three little pigs and the big bad wolf, and that we can all learn something from for our business. So will you commit to building a house or a business of bricks? Or will you be surprised every time the big bad wolf shows himself and puffs a little bit, and will your world be scattered because you failed to build it out of bricks? You know, we all have the ability to do that. We have what it takes to do that. It really does come down to choice. So often people, and even my children, will compliment me on how I stood in the gap for them, you know, and their dad didn't, honestly, right? And I can tell them, but it was a choice. I wasn't more equipped to do what I did in your life. I was just willing to do what I did in your life. You know, we all have what it takes. It's just sometimes I get sad when I look at people who don't have business experience. Believe me, guys, I'm not trying to scare you that you don't have what it takes to plan, because you know what? We're surrounded by people that can help you do that. And when you look at the leaders, the long-lasting, solid leaders, you can see that they didn't get lucky, guys, okay? They built a firm foundation. They put a little thought into how they were going to build their business. It was like that brick house where they tried to position and build and put things in the right place and be sure there weren't any gaps. They've earned what they have, right? And so each one of us has the ability to do that, to build that solid, firm foundation in every area of our life. It just takes an understanding of what a weak one looks like, what a strong one looks like, and how much we're willing to do to get there. So what are you going to do with your business? What does it look like? You know, are you frustrated? I'm hearing, you know, out there, I don't understand it necessarily, but, you know, it's funny how people build it out of straw. There's nothing really to hang on to, and then they're out there, you know, looking for something else or complaining that, you know, this business is a failure, all because they don't have, you know, they haven't put the work in and the planning to build that brick structure. So where are you going to be? You know, you might find yourself there. You might be there right now where you're saying, I'm on this call, and I don't know if I'm going to stay on this call. I might have to go do something else. You know, I had a couple people in my group just in the last quarter of last year just threw in the towel. They just wouldn't do it. They went off and got a full-time jobs instead, right? But their opportunity didn't change. Nothing changed. I mean, Enagic is Enagic. It's been around for decades. You know, the products are phenomenal. You couldn't pry the product out of their hands, but they're gone. So why are they gone? Because they couldn't build that foundation, because they had straw or they had sticks with lots of holes in it, and they just wouldn't do what it took to build the foundation. So what's it going to be for you in 2018? I sure hope that this simple message about the three little pigs and the big bad wolf resonates with you. And I hope that when you face adversity, when that puff of wind comes through your family, your faith, or your business, that you're going to remember this story, that I drove it home, and you think about, is it made of straw? Is it made of sticks, or is it made of bricks? If it's made of bricks, you've got the firm foundation. You can withstand anything, and you will always be victorious in your family, in your faith, and in your business. So that's it for me, Wade.
Wow. Man, Lynn, that's, I'm just blown away. The story of the three little pigs, I love that. They all knew each other. I mean, hello, they were from the same litter, like you said. That one straw could have just walked right down the road and learned from the one building with bricks.
Right.
And a great start to bricks is straw.
That's right. They could have learned. That's right. And the end of the story, of course, is the one that built the brick house, actually devoured the wolf.
Right.
And it's really simple. I know it's a nursery rhyme analogy, but it is the way it is with life.
And it's so true. And you know what is awesome is, guys, we all know somebody that built with bricks. Okay? So we have someone to always look forward to, look up to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And if wolf isn't standing there blowing your house down, okay, you can start building bricks.
That's right. It's never too late. Exactly. It's never too late to say, well, that straw didn't work out so great. I need to learn from my brother, right? You're right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking that straw and making bricks out of it right now. And
exactly.
That's so good, Lynn. Man, that is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, honey, for all that you bring and the simplicity that you bring it in, because that's really what we need, right? I mean, in our teaching and everything else, if we can keep it simplistic like this, people can understand, and we won't lose those people to a puff of wind, right?
Exactly. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that is so good. Listen, Difference Makers, if you have a comment, please hit *2, raise your hand. Sam, if you want to add something to it while we're waiting for Difference Makers to pop up their hand.
Excellent job, Lynn. I tell you, it's amazing, something as simple as the three pigs. And I got to make a note that, boy, I thought of all the wolves that I've encountered and constantly tried to build more solid and not spend as much time as I have not being sure qualified people or doing checkerboard management, being sure that they're on, close to where I'm at, moving and trying to move them instead of dragging them and doing it a little bit different. But that was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. As always, it's, it's the simple things that mean the most sometimes. That was just right on course, and I really learned a lot from it. And I'm sure some of the other Difference Makers did too. And I believe all of us has got a plan to have a fantastic this year. There's no doubt in my mind is going to have a phenomenal year. So I encourage all the Difference Makers, if that didn't motivate you or inspire you, something is wrong. So I encourage all of you, more and more of you are getting fantastic at speaking up and giving a sincere compliment or your opinion, or if it triggered something in your mind, it will add to the call. Please hit *2 and let's consider this conversations. Back to you, Lynn, for your comment, and then to Wade.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, it's funny. I guess if they, they're not out there raising their hands, they either don't understand the depth of the three little pigs, or we stepped on toes. I do bring things to a simple world, if you will, and I learned that, of course, to teach my children. But the greatest leader of all time was Christ, and that's what he did too. Simple little analogies that drive a message home. I'm fortunate that I hear from people saying, oh my gosh, all I could think was the three pigs, or something like that with an analogy. But guys, this message is for the business. That obviously that's what we're calling in today to talk about, right? But it's true in life. Don't find yourself discouraged. What do you do in a relationship when the big bad wolf, puffs? Do you just run? Or do you have a enough foundation to work your way through it? And what do you do with your children? Do you just give up and go get new ones, or do you work your way through it? The business is no different. It takes that kind of commitment. It takes that kind of foundation to be able to grow and to build and to have that long-lasting effect. So you really have to look at it. It may sound simple, but it's true for all of us in every area of our lives.
That's so good. All right, we do got a bunch of hands up. So let's go to some difference makers if you're ready, Miss Lynn. Let's go to Juanita. Good morning, Juanita.
Good morning, Wade and Sam and Miss Lynn. Thank you so much, my dear. I mean, I feel like I'm sitting out on your front porch with you, and I've never been there.
That's great.
Yeah, I came across, actually, Monday through Friday, there's an 8:30, 8:25 call that Omar Ramirez has been doing for years, and that's how I met our wonderful Lynn Gardner, through those calls. So I don't know if you folks have the number, but some in the dates may change a little bit. I don't know, Lynn, you might know if that. Lynn was on Thursday mornings, every Thursday. But the Omar call at 8:25, the number is 712-432-0075 with a PIN of 939787. Again, that's 712-432-0075 with the PIN of 939787. And there's a playback if you missed that. The last 4 digits are 1085. But Lynn, oh my gosh, as I sit and listen to you, you know, I wrote down 3 things as we've been studying on what I enjoy. And throughout the years, first of all, being a woman of faith, I myself am too, and we can be criticized or complimented for that quality in our lives. And I love that about you, teaching me to be a stronger woman of faith. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you're so down to earth and very, very, very humble over the years. I mean, I met you, I believe you were just getting out of auctioneering and into an magic, and you were a very powerful woman, as I can be sometimes myself, and that can be good or bad. So your humility is wonderful. Also, you're very compassionate and patient, maybe because you've had so many children that you've raised on your own and grandchildren, and thousands of people within the real estate that you have become, you know, very, very patient with people. And, of course, your boldness, once again referring to being a woman of faith. And I know some people, I mean, daily almost, I have people question me about my faith, and it's not a question, you know, it's a statement. So thank you so much, Lynn. I appreciate your love and our phone calls personally off of this line, you know, when you've helped me through so many different things throughout this year. So thank you this past year.
You're very welcome. What a great New Year's present for me. Thank you for all your kind words, and it means the world to me that the little bit that I can do could encourage somebody else. So thank you for so much for sharing that. And you know, really, it's interesting. I think, you know, what you can imagine, unless you've been there, you know, raising 4 kids by yourself, no support in any way. There wasn't a weekend pickup, a pickup from a baseball practice, any financial support. None of that was there. And people will just have, unfortunately, they'll look at my life and say, well, I'm not as strong as you are. No, guys, I've never been a mom before. I never found myself with 4 kids on my own before. But I'll tell you what I was determined. And nothing was going to shake that. And that's the determination, guys, you need in general, of course, but you need it in this business. You can't get a puff of wind and see a little bit of adversity and throw in the towel and go on down the street. It's not going to be any different because you never addressed yourself. You never address it within you. Just like me when I was building on straw. And I was sharing with a group yesterday that I could write a book on all the things you shouldn't do because I'd never been in this industry and I made every mistake you could make. But, you know, when you really get down to it, what was it that, you know, why will I see success? Because I'm determined. Because I was real with myself, and I admit my wrongs, and I want to redirect every chance I can. I want to listen to the Sams and the Omars and, you know, all these people that have been there before me, and I want to do what Wade said. I want to say, I want to look at that brick house. My straw house isn't holding up so well. So how can I go build a brick house? And we're so blessed in this industry to have so many people so willing to help in and outside of our team. You know, I said at the ladies event at the farm here last fall that, you know, really when you look at it, biblical truths, you know, the kind of support we do, remember God called Moses to go do a pretty stinking big job. It wasn't going to be a fun job. It's going to be the job that took decades. And Moses argued and said, wait a minute, you got the wrong guy. I mean, I can't speak, you know, I don't have that skill. And God gave him Aaron. But you know what? We're in a business filled with Aarons. And so you may be there and think, I don't have the speaking skills. I don't have the confidence. I can't, you know, get up and do a demo. I can't do this. I can't do that. But you are a world full of Aarons all ready to help you. You just have to be determined to build it in bricks. That's it.
Oh, man, that's good. That is good. All right, let's go to another caller. Let's go to Miss Sandra. Good morning, Sandra.
Oh, hi. I wanted to say that was the most realistic, but accurate of what to expect with the business. And I just add, I have had other businesses, and I find a product I like, a plan I like, and people I like. And eMagic has all of three and more.
Absolutely.
And then I stick with it. You're going to have difficulty at times in anything, marriage, children, or business, but you stick with it, and it will, if it's the right thing, it will go. And the one thing that I've learned that I used to judge everybody, oh, yes, they'll do it because they've sales, or no, they won't do it. They've never done sales in their life, or things like that. I have put out of my mind judging. I just present it. And it's amazing who is wanting to do a business and who has the money. That's one of the biggest things. I have had other distributors say, well, they can't afford it. Well, everybody can afford it. It's just if they want to see the value, they will afford it.
Exactly.
So
that is so powerful.
That's my comment, because I have not seen anybody yet that wanted one that couldn't get a machine.
Oh, right. Exactly. When they want it, they're going to go for it. You're absolutely right. And, you know, for me, I'm sure I've said this a million times on this call, but it's a lot like, for me, it's a lot like my faith. You know, when I share my faith, first of all, I have to be a good representation of what I'm you know, my faith, right? I've got to be a good example of what I want to talk to them about. And then I present what I have with compassion. I'm excited about what I have. But, you know, the reality is most people don't want it. That doesn't stop me. That doesn't mean, well, stop sharing your faith, give up. I mean, you're not good at it, or nobody wants to buy into your faith. That doesn't mean that at all. It means the world is filled with people, and there are plenty of people that want what we have. We just have to continue to pass along the message and not say things like that. I hear that all the time. Nobody can afford these. Well, just because you're not getting anybody on board doesn't mean nobody can afford them. Because just like you said, you know, when they see it, they want it, and they figure it out. I've seen some amazing things that way. So yeah, and it's you just got to stay with it, like you said. It's a journey worthwhile. And there's nothing broken with what we have. So people looking elsewhere or getting discouraged or giving up or saying 2018 is going to stink. Well, it's going to stink if you think it's going to stink. That's for sure. You need a stronger foundation. So thank you so much for sharing that.
That's awesome. Thank you. All right, let's go to Miss Faye. Hey, Faye.
Thanks, Lynn. That was tremendous. And I also listen to Omar's calls, and I love it when you're on.
Thank you.
And yes, and it was such a simple truth, but so powerful. And I just want to thank you for that. I always appreciate your calls.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faye. All right, let's go to Jacksonville, Florida. Jay Moyes. I'm not sure if I got the name there.
Good morning, Jackie from Jacksonville.
Morning, Jackie.
How are y'all?
Morning. Great.
Oh my God. Okay, as I don't know if people remember, I just became a 2A, and my God, keeping it simple, silly is what you did for me mentally, and it can never go away now.
That's the goal. Thank you for saying that. You know, I tease, especially on the Thursday calls, I'll say, I'm going to chase a rabbit, you know, and there's just something in life or in nature or something that drives them a message. But that's the whole goal, is to give you something so simple that you recall it when you see things happen. You know, that it comes back to your mind.
Yes, and it can be explained to other members that lose hope, and that also triggers the content of someone's character also. And I'm just really elated right now.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Bricklayer, thank you so much. Happy New Year.
You're welcome. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Jackie. That's awesome. All right, let's go to Michael. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for making it so simple. My children and my grandchildren and now my great-grandchildren grow up with me telling them, making points on life through nursery rhymes. Of course, they're my nursery rhymes, not the nursery rhymes, but I love that thing with the three little pigs. It just, we have a tendency, I think, all of us, to make things more complicated than they really need to be.
That's right.
And we think we're doing it the right way, but we make it harder on ourselves because we're trying to make it so complicated. Because we look at it and we go, it can't possibly be that simple. There has to be something more to it. And if we just run on the KISS theory, you know, keep it simple, stupid, it just, you know, it just flows. And like you said, we've got so many people out there who can reach out and help us. You know, guys like Wade and Sam and Jim and so many of the others. You know, it's just you know. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Now, simple messages, that's my game, that's for sure. And I'm glad that it resonated with you. And you're right, we complicate everything. You know, we're so gifted. We're the only intellectual thing, really, that God creates. And our minds can muddle up anything. we can, you know, like even this message talking about build the brick house, not the straw. Some people's minds went into, I don't know how to build a brick house. I don't ever be able to build, you know, all the negativity popped in there. Like they don't know how to build a business. Well, you know what? None of us do. We learn from each other. Just like you said, it's very simple. We have so many errands out there, so many people that if you're determined to build a solid foundation, believe me, there's countless leaders that will get on the call and help you. It's when you sit back in a straw house and you don't really have a foundation and you waver every time the wind blows, you don't see that support, right? Because you don't have the foundation. When leaders see your foundation, there's no end to how they'll help you. And it is much more simple than you can imagine. So thank you for that.
Man, that is so good. All right, let's go to Miss Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great now. Thank you so much, Lynn. That was your call. It pumped me up. It helped. Just like what everybody else said, it was just amazing. I'm just so amazed that you, like Wade said, every time you get on this, we look forward to this day to hear you because you bring so much to the table, and it's just so insightful. And you just help us out in so many different ways. I just love how you take things and you lay them out, explain them, bring them, and you just carry the message. So we want to thank you for all that you do.
Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that because, that is the goal, to make it simple and something that will resonate. And when I talk, you do whatever you guys do, you don't want to hang up and say, wow, I was on a call this morning. It's a business training call about three little pigs. You probably don't want to say that because the rest of the world would say, what are you talking about? But I appreciate that. I really do. That's the goal, is to drive it home simply so that we can all embrace it and it sticks.
Yeah, something to share with the rest of our team. They got to hear this. So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Happy New Year.
All right, let's go to Jim. Hey, Jim, how are you this morning?
Doing all right. I thought that was pretty good. I spent 33 years in construction, and I was really interested in to hear how a woman would describe, a stick house and a brick house and she was right on target because I've worked, masons and framing and actually building the home from the ground up, and everything you said from a layman's point of view as far as not actually doing that. But the way you described it, I got kind of tickled. I said, well, she's hitting the nail right on the head. It's and I thought of a cabin I built when I was a little boy. I was about 12. I had went out in the woods and cut a bunch of pine trees down, little saplings really, and I built me a cabin one summer. Well, it was nice. I slept in it. I spent the summer in it. Had me a window and a door, and it was out in the woods by itself. And I lived in the woods. I love the woods, the forest. And anyway, the next fall, or the following summer, I went down to my cabin, and the thing fell down. And
oh my goodness!
I couldn't tell what. This was a big cabin, like 14 by 14, had roof on it and everything. And I got to figure what in the world happened. So I asked my dad. He said, "Well, son, the wood you used was green. You didn't peel the bark off of the wood, and then you didn't dry the wood. You didn't cure it. You just used all green wood."
Right.
And all that work, man. And then here I am. Well, the next one I built one. That thing lasted for years, and but it was out of cured wood. And I built me another cabin. I didn't quit because I wanted a cabin. Anyway, then I got into the construction trades after Vietnam and learned from the foundation up. And I was always wanting to build something. And building a barn, a dog house, didn't matter as long as I'm building something. And by learning from the ground up, everything you said, the wolf is not going to blow that house. He's not going to blow that business down. And I just got a kick out of the way you described it. And I was at least smart enough to not try and build a cabin out of bales of hay. And I at least went to the sticks first. But anyway, I thought it was neat. I thought it was. I said, "Well, this woman's a pretty smart old girl."
Well, you are way too kind. I'm just following the three little pigs. But you know that when you guys do work in construction, masonry, whatever it is, I mean, you make it look simple. There's nothing simple about it, especially when you're, putting together a brick foundation or a brick structure. So I'm so glad to hear. You warm my heart that, you actually work with your hands and you understand the analogy that I tried to make for you today. So thank you so much. You made my day.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's go back to Jackie. Hey, Jackie.
Hello again.
Hello.
Well, can I have your contact info or website, or just for some follow-on questions, if maybe?
Or give my contact info?
Yes.
Yes, you can. You can email me if you want. My email is h2orevival@gmail.com. Or you can call me, and that's 703-338-4922.
Thank you again.
You're very welcome.
And then your Facebook page is Lynn Gardner, right?
Yes, it's Lynn Gardner.
Yeah. Because that's awesome too, guys. All right, Jackie, good job. And then let's go to Sammy. Hey, Sammy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to bring back your message to the RI training that we've been doing, and wanted to ask, out of which pigs is Doug or Sarah or Steve or Cindy? I just really started relating that back to those.
That's really good. That's tough for Lynn because she's not doing it. But so Doug would of course be your straw. Cindy would have been your stick, or Cindy was your stick, and then main character is obviously Brick.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve is.
Yeah,
Brick.
so Steve was definitely putting in the work, and and learning the foundation, or building the foundation before we got started. So that's what I wanted to bring it back to for all of our difference makers who are doing the RI training. And Lynn, I just really wanted to thank you because I get so excited when I hear you're on the call. I just love hearing you, and you've been such an inspiration to me. You probably don't even know. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. You just made my year. Thank you so much. Yeah, and it's funny how in our business, we have all these different options for calls and topics, and some of them are more intense and some of them are really kind of life lessons, but it's interesting to see how it really does all work together for good. It all threads together, from this guy to that gal, from this topic to that topic, it all threads together. It's just a matter of whether your heart is open to it, your mind's open to it, and whether you want to roll up your sleeves and get busy. That really is what it comes down to, that determination and taking all the ingredients and baking a cake.
Ooh, amen. Amen. That's good. I love that. All right, guys. Well, we're coming to the end of the call. Hey, listen, I didn't get Omar's times. Do you know when they are, Lynn? I'm sorry.
Did you say the time?
Yeah.
They're actually 11:30 Eastern. So for most of our callers, I guess it's Eastern time frame, but it's 11:30 a.m. Eastern.
Daily?
They're daily, yes, every day. I'm on Thursday mornings every week.
Excellent. That's great to know. So Difference Makers, there was a couple people who also didn't get it. So Difference Makers, there it is. So we have just a couple minutes left. Do you want to say anything, Lynn? Then I'm going to turn it over to Sam to thank you for being here. It's always such a pleasure having you.
Oh, it's my pleasure, believe me. I just appreciate everybody so much, and I appreciate your tolerance of my chasing rabbits. And I just pray that, again, I drove home a message that when you're facing adversity, you will face it. You don't get through life, through your family, through your marriage, through your business, through anything without that big bad wolf. You just stand firm. And if you feel like you're weak in the knees and he has the ability to blow your house down, get busy and start laying that foundation, because it's never too late to do that.
Well, that's so good. Sam?
Awesome call, Liz. Thank you so much to all the difference makers that spoke up. And it was just a wonderful, simple call. And anybody that knows me very well knows that's my formula for success, is keeping it simple. I've never all my life been accused of being complicated or being too much in detail. If I believe it's something and love it, I love people, I'm going to share it. And that story is fabulous. So if you tell people to go to the site and listen to the call, tell them it's the latest version of the Three Pigs, and they will really get motivated to listen to it. So
That's
thanks,
right.
Lynn. You always bring joy and laughter and encouragement to our call, and we appreciate it more than you know. So back to you, Wade, to close us out.
I love it. And, guys, this will be posted immediately on Facebook. I don't know about immediately because Jenny does it. I don't want to speak for her. But it will be posted on the Difference Makers Facebook page. Lynn, anytime you want to go rabbit hunting, honey, call me. I'm
Okay, I'm ready. Come to the farm. We'll go hunting, okay? Thank you for everything. You guys have a blessed day.
Excellent, guys. I'm going to open it up for everybody to thank Lynn. Thank you so much, honey, for being here. We'll talk with you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn.